now. Once again, good evening, everybody. It is HBCU Coaches Corner on a Tuesday night. It is Mr. Campbell, and of course, in the building, Coach of the Year, SWAC champion, SIAC champion, coached many places and done many things. The legendary Mr. Clean, Coach Johnny Cole. Coach, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Look, hey, I couldn't miss the night. And, I want to be known as a first-class show. I think, man, been carrying the torch while I've been trying to get my life together. And not necessarily my life is bad, but, I'm still working.
You got some big things going on, Coach.
Yeah, I got some things going on in my life, man, and had to been doing some traveling. And, you've been carrying the torch. And I can't say enough about you, man. And that big deal, that sipping on Sunday, man. I tell you, that thing hitting, Coach. That thing is hitting.
Well, see, Coach, it's the setup, setup for the big thing on Tuesday. See, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're able to do a little sipping on Sunday so we can talk on Tuesdays. You see what I'm saying?
And tonight, man, I mean, you talking about first-class guy, and we're going to do something special to him tonight. I know he in the back. We're going to do something special. I'm going to do something special for him tonight. And I can't say enough about this guy. He's first class, man. I don't know. Am I doing the intro or you doing the intro?
No, I can. Well, Coach, you can do it if you want. It ain't
he's first class, Coach, man. And he's always had open arms, and I'm big on selling my program. I'm gonna sell my program to an ant as well as I'm gonna sell my program to a big ego. And he's never had an issue with that, man. He's always given us his time, his effort. He's definitely a championship kind of guy. You could tell from what he's done and what his mark is. And I'm going to save some of that for later on in the show. Let's bring the man behind the championships. Yeah, I said it.
Multiple coach.
The championships, the athletic director, the general manager, the guy who's in front of the boat with the flag, Anton Goff. Anton Goff.
There he is.
There he is. The man.
What's up, man? What's up? Well, how y'all boys doing, man?
Coach, man, we doing great, man. When we get greatness on our show, you know what I'm saying? It's just a privilege. And, Scotty has passed the torch to us. And so we got to hold it right. He gave us the torch, and we carry this show on, man. And when we get an opportunity, to get people like yourself that's behind the scene, that's big. That's big. We want you to know that we appreciate your time and effort, man. And, I know you just came off a big basketball season. You come off a big football season. Man, I mean, Coach, you're up in the plane, you're down in the plane, you're in the car. You're rolling, but you always had time, man. When the HBCU Coaches Corner called, man, you pick that phone up.
Yeah, I'm gonna come on anytime y'all guys want me to come on, man. I got nothing but love for y'all, man. Y'all showed love for me from the day I stepped on campus, man, August 2023, man. So I'm never gonna forget that. You know what I'm saying? Before anybody really knew who I was in the SWAC. So a number of love for y'all, man, and respect. So anytime you call me, I'll pick up the phone. Anytime you want me to get on the show, I'm gonna get on for you.
Yeah. Well, let me say that, and that goes into what I'm gonna do. You looking at close to 90 years of SWAC, period. With me and Mr. Campbell. I know I've been around for 42 years, actually in SWAC. You know what I mean? I came from Ohio. Yeah. You went to school with my homeboy. Tonight, I'm swacking you. You a SWAC.
I'm officially SWAC now.
You officially SWAC. So
okay,
you
I
say
appreciate
whatever you want, and we're gonna be in the fight with you. You SWAC, and following that, Antoine, we're gonna get in about you and who you are, and the reason why I'm swacking you, this is the Prairie View of old, back in the 60s. Ain't that right, Kevin?
Yeah.
This the 60s.
Listen, let me say this. AD, listen, and I'm saying this very respectfully, because I know you've been around since 2023. But like Coach said, me and Coach was in it. I was born in it. So I've been around this thing 50 years. AD, I'm just going to tell you a secret. We ain't talked this much about Prairie View in 50 years of my life.
Hey, that's good, man. That's good. That's what we want. That's
So
what
I'm
that's
just
exactly
telling
what we
you, my mother called me, and she, my mother, shout out to my mother. She said, "Wait a minute, y'all doing another Prairie View show?" And now my mother, old school Jackson State. I said, "Yeah, Mom, we doing another Prairie View show." She said, "What they got going on down there?" So, hey, AD, listen, when the old school Tigers is taking notice, hey man, you're doing something great down there in Texas, man.
I'm talking about AD Doc. This school had an 8-year span of 0-88. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's tough. A lot of people remember that,
down,
man.
Football down, track down, golf down. But one thing I could say about the Prairie View A&M fans, even when I was a player, they show up. They showed up. No matter what the score was or nothing, they showed up. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed for the Labor Day, for the Celebration Bowl. I thought we could have had a little more up in there, but
yeah, we're gonna work on that.
Hey, look, you already got your basketball going. I know you put some pressure on Coach Bodsman. That's what you do. You're a winner, Coach. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say it. See how you don't turn this program around. You know what I mean? You don't white folks us, man. you're doing it the right way. You know what I mean? You look at the resumes. Yeah. You following backgrounds. You want champions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got a method to my madness over here, man. You know what I'm saying? That I've been tweaking for 30 years now, man. When it comes to hiring coaches, administrators, and I got a certain way of doing it, man. And I like to do it my way. And I'm fortunate to have a president that allows me to do it my way. And so I can't thank her enough for allowing me the leeway to hire coaches the way I want to hire them. So and it's been working out so far. So when you do something a certain way and you reap the fruits from it, they allow you to keep doing it.
Wow. I'm just excited about bringing you in and where you started at NIU. You've been at Bowie State, and you've been successful. But I want to start with what's most important. Is the academic piece, and kind of looking at your degree, your start off in this athletic realm. Of course, we'll get into your mom and all that. You was an academic guy.
Yeah. I started out, my first job was at Kent State University. I held like 4 different jobs at one time, man. Before they actually had director of basketball ops and football ops, I was director of basketball ops and football ops at the same time. I was an academic advisor for football, basketball. So that's where I got my start, man. And for me, it's always been about, I got 2 passions, man. That's college athletics and helping young folks, man. And so when I was in that academic position, man, I felt like I was able to shape guys' lives, man, because I saw a lot of dudes, man, that looked like me, acted like me, and had the same background as me, you know what I'm saying, that just needed some guidance, man, from someone like me. And so, that's how I started out, man, and then went from there, went to University of Maryland, and then kind of started specializing. I did all the academics for University of Maryland men's basketball team, ended up winning the national championship there with Hall of Famer Gary Williams. And then the craziest thing ever, man, Saban leaves LSU, Bobby Williams gets the job. Somehow Bobby Williams hears about me, calls me, and wants me to be on his staff. And so I go out there, and I'm in the Big Ten at Michigan State with Bobby Williams, man, and that's when I kind of started now supervising people and getting a little more into the development, academics, administration, upper level administration. And then lo and behold, I got called by Debbie Yow at University of Maryland to come back home, right? She's like, I need you back here, right? And so went back there, associate AD, man. Now I'm over all 27 sports, overseeing academic, overseeing career development, community service, and started getting into some development stuff, man. And so was there for a while, did my second stint at Maryland. Then out of the blue, I get a call from the president at Bowie State. Now, Bowie State and University of Maryland probably about 8 miles apart from each other, man. And so wasn't looking to move down to a D2, wasn't really looking to be an AD at that point. But out of respect for him, man, I've got a lot of respect for authority, right? That's my mom instilled that in me. And so he asked me to have lunch with him. So I went over there, had lunch with him, man. And a couple conversations later, man, I was the AD at Bowie State. And that was my first AD job. And, went from Bowie State, then I jumped up to University of Hartford in Connecticut, then to St. John's, and then I want to get back to some football and back to the MAC. I played football at Bowling Green State University in the Mid-American Conference. So go to Northern Illinois University, work there, and then I get a call out the blue from the president who had been on the job like 2 months, man. And the one thing that resonated with me, she said, I'm a first-time president. I can't have a first-time AD. Meaning she was looking for somebody with some experience. And, I had never been in the SWAC. I'd never lived this far south, man. You know what I'm saying? I was a Midwest, East Coast guy. And, I loved her vision, though. Her thing was, I'm looking to try to be a premier, university, man, regardless of HBCU or anything else. I'm trying to make a premier university. And that's, for me, that's what I was looking for, and so came down here and started out, like I said in the beginning, man, August 2023, man. And, it's been great down here so far, man. And, like you said, we won the football this past year, won men's basketball, won women's golf a couple weeks ago, and, had won the regular season in volleyball. And so it's been an exciting time at PV, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to continue to get better and hopefully keep winning championships.
Well, and I'm glad you gave me that background because they gave me a little bit, of course you coach with a homeboy of mine that I grew up with, so I'm going to take you to your playing years. You balled out in high school, you got that big, were you a cerebral player? Because it seems like, and again, coming from your mom who's been in the athletic realm, so you already kind of had some armor going in as I know where athletics can take me. So I know I'm going in there with my academic mind as well. What kind of player was you? A cerebral player, not really just focusing on your position, but kind of looking at kind of everything, where I know you picked up a lot of stuff from your mom. I had a chance to meet her, wonderful woman. Were you that type of player? Because I got some right behind that.
Yeah. I was a student of the game, man. Like I wanted to be able to play both sides, like the X and the Y, you know what I'm saying, the Z. Like I wanted to be able to play, like I knew what all three receivers was doing when we was in trips, you know what I'm saying? And so I always prided myself on being highly intelligent, man. Like I never ran away from that. And, because I always felt like, you could use your intelligence to get an advantage some way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not always about athleticism. And so, that's exactly how I looked at it, man.
Right. And one of the things, and I'm saying that to say that, why you didn't hire an NFL coach?
Listen, man. So first of all, man, me hiring Coach Jackson, man, was a God thing, right? Like I got a deep faith, man, and I'll tell you the story how the whole thing jumped off, and it started in 2023, right? 2023, we're playing FAMU in homecoming, right? We can't stay in Tallahassee. We got to stay in Valdosta, right? Well, we stay at Valdosta. I leave the hotel after team dinner. I go to the cigar bar, right? They have this big old billboard out there on the highway talking about Valdosta State, Georgia's University, something. And I remember probably in about 2018, I think I was in New York, man. I was watching Netflix and saw this Netflix special about Valdosta High School, right? Football. And I always intrigued by that, like how they take it so seriously. And so in my mind, I was like, man, I wonder who the coach at Valdosta State is, right? So as I'm relaxing, chilling, I look it up. I see Tremaine Jackson. I'm like, oh, man, that kind of surprised me, right? So I read his bio. I see he's from Houston. I see, he had some background in the SWAC and a whole bunch of other schools. I was like, man, watch this dude. Hopefully he continues to do well, because I always remember when I was in D2, Valdosta State was always a powerhouse, right? And so Fast forward, man, in the 24 season, when I was thinking about making a change, I just happened to be like, I wonder what that dude Tremaine Jackson is doing. I look him up. Dude has balled out the last 2 years since I looked him up in 23, right? He's making a run. He's making a run, right? Again. So I was like, when we started doing a search, I was like, I need to get in touch with this dude and just rap with him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember looking him up in 2023. I wasn't trying to hire him in 2023. I wasn't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? But something put that on my heart, man, to think about him when it was time to do the coaching search, man. And immediately clicked with him, man. And like I said, I got a unique way of hiring coaches, man. Like, it's not just about interviewing coaches, it's about getting to know them, right? And especially when it comes to your football coach, basketball coach, things of that nature, because I know in this business, when you hire a football coach, you are putting your career in that man's hands, and he's putting his career in your hands. And so I wanted to make sure he understood that, and that I understood that, and he understood that I understood that, right? And so, my thing was, man, after we got past the surface stuff, me and that dude talked every single day, man, up until his run to the national championship, until he was officially announced. And we still talk today, man, every single day, several times, man. So that hasn't changed.
Let me tell you, iron sharpens iron, and I recognize championship guys. You can ask Mr. Campbell when we talk, and I tell him, well, this who's about to win. This is when I said that this guy is unbelievable. It's when you had to let go one of the most charming, most good men that I've ever met in my life, when you had to let go Bubba. Coming in there. Yeah. I know it had to be hard, because I've never, right. I ain't gonna say I never, he's one human that I've met in my life that I say, man, is one of the most sweetest, I'll say it, sweetest, kindest persons that I ever known. And when you did that, I said, this guy's about business. He understands the fabric of the game. He understands that, hey, man, in this game, it's about winning, man. It's about winning.
No doubt.
Winning
no
open
doubt.
all
Yeah.
doors. And
that was tough, man. It was tough. I prayed over it. Me and Bubs prayed together. I cried, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was tough, man. Because I genuinely love that man. Because like you said, man, he's one of the most genuine dudes you'll ever meet, man. I still talk to him every once in a while, check on him. He checks on me, man. When we did something, every time we did something good, he'd call and congratulate me, man. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing over there, man. But that was tough, man. But like I said, man, I had to, really, really think about it, and really, really, be convicted on what I was going to do. And we did it.
Yeah. And I want people to know something about you from off the camera. And I think I've never had this in my career. As many as championships I've won, Campbell, as great as my offenses have been, how important it is that your relationship with your football coach. Because you do a fabulous job, man. And I'm just saying, from being a head football coach and never having that, even when I work with my brother, never having an AD to come over and sit down and have dinner and have trust in you. I've never experienced that. Many champs, I've been a part of 6 championships, coach. I've never had that. It's always been. How important is that? And that means a lot to me as well. I mean, you just gained my respect all over this game. Whether you got a farm but you always been able to separate the personal from the business.
Yeah, no, I think it's important, man. Like, especially, football is your most visible sport most of the times. And for probably 99% of the folks that got football is your biggest sport, right? It's your money maker. It's the most visible. It brings you the most eyes to your university. So to have a good football program is important. And especially here in Texas, right? Like, Texas football is huge, man. I don't care on what level you're talking about, from elementary school to the pros. But for me, man, it's always important to have a positive relationship with all your coaches, but especially football, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things, for me was, when I was hiring a football coach, I wasn't just hiring a football coach. I also wanted to hire a football guy. because I've been around this business a lot of times where you might have a football guy who's not a football coach, or you might have a football coach that's not a football guy. But when you got both in one, you got a chance to win, man. And so, Coach Jackson is definitely both of those, man. And so, it's important for us, man, to always be open with our communication, man. Me asking him what he needs, him telling me what he needs. Now, I can't give him everything, but I at least need to know. But I also got to be able to be honest with him when I can't give him something, to let him know as well, and not giving him false promises where he's thinking he's going to get something and then I don't come through. Now my words not golden. You know what I'm saying? We always talk all the time, playing cards face up, man. You know what I'm saying? Put your cards on the table. This is what we got. This is what we're trying to do. What can we do with it?
Man, I tell you, you got a rough job, Cole. You kicking butt in basketball, you kicking butt in football, but they putting the people don't understand. They putting the pressure on you because them folks need to be paid. You know what I mean? Always down line. You know what I mean? And maybe you, coach, you might need to do a AD seminar, because I am very impressed with what you're doing and where you're going with this program, because you guys are just getting bigger and bigger. I tell you guys, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be with you guys at the State Fair Classic and eating with you guys and being able to sit there, man. And I'm looking at the football team, Bishop, and then another 20 people come in. I'm like, well, damn, Coach, you brought the freshman football team? That was the media people. And I'm just like, boy, they doing it up here. Talk about how important that is because all this is you. I love Coach Jackson to death, and Coach Byron, we was there again. This your set.
No, it's important, man, to have a great support system around. Like, it's one thing to have, a coaching staff, but it's another thing to have a support staff for your coaching staff, right? That's if you look at, the Alabamas, the Georgias and them, man, on a football staff, they got 50 people, right? Now, I can't employ 50 people, but I might be able to get us 25. You know what I'm saying? And so, I want to make sure that, that we've got the media people, we got the video people, the social media people, coaching them, have analysts to help them out, right? You know what I'm saying? Not just running backs coach, you need an assistant runners back coach, you need an analyst, then you need a GM, the manage your roster, and an assistant GM. So all those things, man, are resources that me and Coach talk about that he felt like he needed to win. And I want to make sure I provide them, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what we're doing here. Like, and like you said, the pressure, I've hired 5 new coaches in the past year, right? So I hired Coach Jackson. He wins the SWAC West, the SWAC championship. We go to the Celebration Bowl. I hired Dottie Hampton as our volleyball coach. She goes ahead in her first year and wins the regular season SWAC volleyball joint, right? I hired a golf coach. His first season, he wins the women's golf championship, right? And so, like, 3 out of my 5 won championships. And so, but which each one of them, I gave them the resources to compete at the highest level. Right. And so, and I'll continue to do that. We're going to continue to give the resources to men's basketball, because we want to repeat that run that we just had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just had dinner. Coach was at dinner. We went to a steakhouse and we was with some corporate sponsors. And I was telling them, I said, man, we're one of 3 Division I schools that won football and men's basketball in the same year. The other 2 are Kennesaw State and Duke, right? Like, Jesus. Nobody would have thought, nobody had thought, like, man, PV, Kennesaw, and Duke, the only 3 in the country. Like, that's a elite class to be in one particular year, right? And so,
I hope these PV alumni understand it costs the bread. But go ahead.
Winning cause. Yeah, so we're going to continue to give our coaches the resources, man, and we're doing pretty well in our other sports. Softball's first in the West right now. Coach Bland's got them girls rolling, getting ready to finish up men's and women's golf. Men's and women's track outdoor, competing in the SWAC championship, and then our women's golf team is preparing for the NCAA. So it's been a good year so far, man, but still not satisfied, man. That's the one thing we're never going to be here at PV. Never going to be satisfied where we're at because there's always a next level to reach.
Yeah, I'm going to ask one more question. I'm turning this over to Bishop. You know, you my guy, so tell me, HBCUs, we always complain, you know, about what we don't have, and which is fair. You know, we ain't like the Division I schools, but it seems to me that you have came in and have taken a nickel and made it out of 25 cents. You know what I mean? And people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what make winners, Mr. Goff. Besides you hiring great coaches, it's you. It's you go out and get, or you know how it looks. That's what I'm trying to say. You know how winning looks. You know what I mean? And what you need. Man, I can't pay you $50,000, but I can pay you $20,000. But I need to. You know what I'm saying?
You need the other 30 to do something with to help you win. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. No, man,
you squeeze a nickel, man, and just money just fall out.
Try to, man. You have to use your resources wisely, man. And you got to have people to understand that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, I could pay you a certain amount of money, but you may not be able to pay your assistant coaches a certain amount to get the quality assistant coaches you need. So you can be greedy if you want to, you know what I'm saying? But you're not going to win. So your tenure won't be here as long, you know. But I've been, like I said, man, earlier, I've been in this business 30 years.
Yeah.
You never have enough money. I'm telling you, I don't care what level you're at, man. When I was at University of Maryland, we didn't have the same money as Duke or North Carolina. When I was at Michigan State, we didn't have the same money as Michigan or Ohio State. When I was at Bowie State, we didn't have the same money as Winston-Salem at the time when they went D1 and then came back. When I was at University of Hartford, I didn't have the same money as Stony Brook. When I was at St. John's, we didn't have the same money as Georgetown or Villanova. Northern Illinois, I didn't have the same money as Toledo. So, like, you never have enough, man. Somebody's always going to probably have a little more than you. But if you use your resources wisely, you hire the right people, you motivate them, you have the right support, you can win.
Right. Well, I'm going to throw my little 2 cents in, and this ain't Tremaine Jackson's show. You know, I taught him that. And he understands that greatly, and he's put together a staff. And sometimes, like, as you say, I can't get the best staffer, but winning starts at the top.
Absolutely.
And of course, you start the conversation out with the president. This is what I want. Anton, your job is to go hire me a football coach. It ain't street committee. It ain't who shot John and who did this. It's you, Mr. Goff. I need a football coach. And I'm telling you, man, and all three of you are in line. You know,
absolutely. That's important.
AD and head football coach. I can't say enough. Man, I'm turning over the camera.
Eddie Goff, listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give you the highest honor. As you know, being an athletic director is not hiring a football coach; it's building an athletic program. And what I'm seeing here is you're building a program, and I think that's important. I think all great leaders, when they come into situations, 2 things they got to do: find out exactly what they got, and then go get what they need. And I say that to set up this. You know you need to get a football coach. You went and got a football coach. You know you need to get a golf coach. You got a golf coach. Like you say, a championship. Same thing about. But one of the most important thing I think was valuable, and I'm going to say this, is that you kept Byron Smith. Now, you got there in 2023. His first year, he was 10-21. So I believe that was a valuation. His next year, he was 5-27. Right then and there, many people were around the SWAC was like, could be. What was it that you saw and said, you know what? He's the right man. I'm going to stay with Coach Smith. And then by you having that knowledge and understanding of what you felt Coach Smith was, turned into a SWAC championship. Why was that? Because AD, you know how it is now. You know how it is. Everybody's on social media. And again, he does have a resume, but again, his resume has to be with you now. and you have to evaluate it on your watch, and you only being your second year. Why did you keep Coach Smith?
So couple things, man. I love Coach Smith's passion, man. Some people think he may go overboard on the sidelines, whatnot, man. But I see the guy every day, man. He wants to compete. He wants to win, man. And this year was critical, obviously. Like, you know what I'm saying? His third year. And so I just felt like, you know, one of the things I'd always talk to him about, like, man, I was like, man, like, why are guards so little, coach? You know what I'm saying? He likes those tenacious little guards, you know what I'm saying? So I used to joke with him, like, man, we got to get bigger. We got to get bigger. And so this year he got bigger, man, and brought in some guys. And I saw what he was working on, man. And so, you know, I felt it was only right, man. Like, hey, you know what? Let's ride this thing out, man, to the very end. And I wanted to be like, I like to be sure, right? And so I wanted to be sure if I needed to move on or not. And he proved that I didn't need to move on, right? And so I'm excited for him. And once again, man, it's one of those God things, man. That was God, man, working, you know what I'm saying, in his life, my life, and in basketball. Nobody with the different types of injuries throughout the year, right? We saw, like, the very beginning of the year, like, yo, man, we could beat probably anybody in this league. But then we had some injuries and they were happening at crazy times. And so we didn't really have a full team, man, till towards the end of the year. And we ended up 8th, and we got in there and won that first game. And when we beat Bethune-Cookman and really slid into the number 1 seed and got the rest and whatnot, I've been around, man, where when guards get on fire, there ain't nothing you can do. And our guards got on fire. I seen it one time when I was at Maryland. This dude named John Gilchrist in the ACC tournament, man, like, was decent all year, man, but got to the tournament and went ballistic. You saw it when my man at Syracuse did it one year, man. Like, at some time, and I saw that in them dudes, man. I was like, man, we gonna win this thing, man. And sure enough, boom. And then we go to Dayton, beat Lehigh. They were a much bigger team, but our guards, they couldn't handle our guards. We beat Lehigh in the first 4. Immediately after we win that game, NCAA says, hey, man, y'all got to jump on a plane right now, head to Tampa. We thought we was going to be able to get a little rest, you know what I'm saying? We on a plane, land in Tampa, 3 a.m., figure that out, man, and then go, you know, play Florida, and it was a hell of a run. First time we won an NCAA game in men's basketball, so history was made.
So that's the thing, you know, AD, you talked about that, and I was sitting back when you guys won the tournament. And again, I do another show, and I said, wait a minute now, this is historic, because now while you talked about just, you know, the 3 schools that had done it, you know, this year, but for us, the SWAC, it's only been like 3 schools that have ever done that, period.
Yeah.
In the whole history of having men's football, you know, again, and like I said, and I gave you credit for this too, because we can't not count women's sports, but to win, and like I said, I call them the major championships. Again, nothing against some of the smaller, you know, athletic sports, but the ones that we know about. For you to have a women's championship in volleyball regular season, the men's basketball and men's football, that is unprecedented. And when I saw that, and again, and looking at it again, and like I said, we got a lot of your Prairie View family in here that have, like, as Coach said, have been through the ups and downs. And to see this renaissance of a charter member of the SWAC that has been here through thick and thin, to see you all, because AD Goff, I've always said this, and Coach knows this. I've always said Prairie View should always be good, because you're in Texas. Prairie View's an amazing school. You got amazing alums. You got them all over that state. So that's one of those, like I say about FAMU, FAMU should always be good. We're in Florida, you know? Just to see those seeds that you've planted, when you said, you know what, I'm going to plant a seed here, I'm going to get a new football coach. I'm going to plant a seed here, I'm going to get a new golf coach. I'm going to plant a seed here, I'm going to get a new women's volleyball coach. I believe that you said, right? Correct. But then you said, I got a tree out there that just needs a little bit of watering with the basketball. The foundation, the roots are strong. So that's why I think it's so amazing, because I think what Coach said, when we hear ADs and things like that, it has a lot more to do with, again, just hiring coaches. It's about running the program, making sure it's profitable, making sure you got, listen, AD, you got 100,000 customers every year, minimum.
Yeah.
And now they got access to get to you now.
Yeah.
So I find that. So I wanna play something. Again, I'm one of these people. I like to play things because this is something that your coach said, and I think this has something to do with your vision, but also something that I read. So I want to play a video real quick of your coach because something I believe you voted because I want to talk to you about something about your scheduling. And we're gonna play this real quick about And of course, your coach always got a soundbite there, AD.
No doubt.
He got a soundbite. Let's get this up and play this right here. This is Tremaine Jackson talking about schedule. No, wait a minute.
Years ago, you want to always be reputable. You want to always be reputable. I get mad when I see things about rankings of FCS conferences and we're 10th or 13th. I think we have something to do with that, and I'm not knocking anybody. I think we just got to make sure we're always putting ourselves on the cutting edge, right? And not just doing what we've always done. If we're Division I conference, we need to play Division I people. It just is what it is. When I was in Division II, we played Division II people. And so I think if you look at our schedule, like you and I talked before, you see how we feel. We play 12 Division I games, and one of those is an FBS game. And we will always do that. There's enough FCS teams in our state for us to be able to fill that schedule. We just did a home and home with Houston Christian. We should play Houston Christian every year. Every year. It's an easy bus trip. I like staying in downtown Houston when we're away. So we should just play that game. And some people are going to complain about it, though. I think that's a loser's mentality. I'm just telling you. Like, if you want to be elite, you got to play elite people. We're not afraid. We open up with the number 3 team in the country. And then 3 weeks later, we played the number 6 team in the country on our level with Baylor in the mix of it and Texas Southern, which is a rival. That's always a tough game. First 4 weeks of our season are really tough. I wish we could play School of the Blind and Mary had a little lamb chops. We don't get those anymore. And we put them away a long time ago. So I was glad the commissioner did that. I think that shows where he's going with the conference too. Dr. McClellan was our AD when I was at the other place. And that dude always had big vision on what he wanted to do with our conference. I'm waiting on him to get to the second phase that he mentioned when we were there, which I think people really like the second phase, and those that don't like it, they don't need to go. And so I think as long as we keep following Dr. McClellan, we'll be fine.
What's the second phase?
It ain't for me to tell you.
So, AD, now listen, I got one other thing to add because I saw this, and I want to ask you this question because he talked about the scheduling. But one of the things that I saw, and I want to ask you that, and this is, comes, hey, shout out to Kyle Mosley. That is Coach Cole's guy. But he said that the conference also voted to eliminate, which coach is talking about, non-Division I and non-Division II football opponents from the league schedule beginning in 2020. A mandate McClellan credit to the athletic directors. So wait a minute now, AD, you got to take us in the back room. Now, how did this come out? Because it's two things. Coaches don't schedule the football games. They might give you input, hey, who would you like to play? But the ADs, because the money got to work, the schedule's got to work. Talk to us about, your thought process of scheduling, and then talk to us how you guys got together and why, as the ADs, did you feel, because as Dr. McClellan said, it was the ADs that said, hey, we need to do this to elevate the conference.
So a couple things. First of all, on the schedule, when I was talking with Coach Jackson and we was getting to know each other, and he's like, man, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do with the program? I said, man, I'm trying to be an elite FCS program, right? And to be elite, like he said, you got to play an elite schedule, right? I want us to be ranked in the top 25, right? And in order to be ranked, you got to play all these other FCS, have a strength of schedule and those type of things. And so once he came on board, I already started working, right, on being able to play Tarletons, the East Texas A&Ms, the Stephen F. Austins, and, Houston Christians, all those, man. I was calling them because they're in our footprint. So, and I've got a good relationship with those guys in the Southland Conference. So being that we're in their footprint, man, I was like, hey, man, let's set this up. Let's play Incarnate Word. UTRGV just came up. So, hey, man, let's get a 4-game series with them. And so, that's why our schedule looks the way it does, right? And so we, unbeknownst that this was going to happen, started this way before we even had conversations in the AD's room about what we wanted to do, because I knew what we wanted to do at Prairie View. I wasn't worried about what everybody else was trying to do. I knew where we were trying to go, and me and Coach were on the same page. But I'm going to tell you what happened is that, when we looked at the SWAC race this year, right? You had Alabama State, who lost 1 game in the East, right? But couldn't make the championship, right?
Right.
And Alabama State beat us, right? But we're on the West. We can make the championship. So it was really like 3 teams, us, Jackson State, Alabama State, you know what I'm saying? And so we thought maybe they might get some consideration for the FCS playoffs, but, they're playing Alabama State's playing the Turkey Bowl, whatever they play. And, and the FCS, we got feedback from the FCS selection committee, say, hey, man, they played too many non-D1 games really to be in consideration. They had a great season. We think they're great. But, when we start looking at that, we're like, hey, man, like, where do we want to go as a conference? Like, do we want to be able to be considered for the FCS playoffs? Because, in a heated race, man, it only takes 1 loss for you not to be able to get to the championship. In 23, that happened to FAMU, but FAMU was able to get in. Jackson State went in as the East Championship champion, but FAMU got in the playoffs, right? And so we're looking like, hey, man, in order for us to really get that respect nationally, we've got to be able to put a team in there if they're good enough. And then I sit on the FCS oversight committee, right? And so in our meetings during the wintertime and during the fall, we talked about selection criteria. And so really what they're looking at is giving priority to those who have played 11 or more Division I games. And so when I brought that back to, the ADs and the commissioner, and we started talking in our meeting, everybody was like, hey, man, let's get rid of the D2s and the Lincolns and all those, you know what I'm saying? And hell, we played Lincoln last year because we had a hole in our schedule that I inherited when I first got there. I tried to play another NIA squad. They canceled on me. So I had to get somebody real quick, man, because it was homecoming. And you know how PV is with homecoming. Like that's right. Hey, you better have homecoming. So they don't really care who you play, but you better have homecoming. So, I was getting calls. We still having homecoming. We changing it. But, I ended up putting that game in there. But, that's how most of that came to fruition, man. And ADs and the commissioners, because the commissioner's like, what do y'all want to do, man? Like, here's the data. Make a decision. And so that's how we made the decision.
I think that is just so important because one of the things, and AD Goff, you've been around 3 years, but I know you heard it, is that's been the struggle. The SWAC has its proud tradition, and Coach Cole is part of it, actually with players and things like that. So when you're looking at that, but what we've heard is the SWAC doesn't play anybody. They don't have the high RPI rankings and things like that. Basketball, football, it hurts us. And one of the things I knew the issue was, like you're saying, scheduling. You know what I mean? You got to fit the schedule. You got to find people. But the fact that the ADs got together, and it sounds like you were some of the catalysts, to help move that forward. I think this is very important because we're in a new world now. People don't wait for the newspaper to come out. As soon as the schedule come out, AD Golf, trust me, they got people right now already breaking down schedule. Don't even know who's gonna be on the roster.
Yeah.
They're just killing me.
Yeah.
They're up. Prairie View only gonna win this amount of games, and Jack State gonna win. Man, how y'all not? Man, stop. But my point of it is, as soon as they see, like you say, a Lincoln, then that takes a world of its own. And then that is used for, and unfortunately, for people that are not positive about our school as a negative. You see what they're doing? They don't want to play anybody. They're scared to play people like that. But when I respect the fact that you say, hey, man, listen, we in Texas. We're going to play folks in Texas that's got a name. And I think that is huge for the conference because you all, and it's really, and I had to break this down to somebody. there's only really 2 states that have a multitude of FCS PWI schools like you all do. That's Texas and Louisiana. Mississippi doesn't have any. No. Alabama has a lot of those guys have moved up. Florida, everybody's moved up. So, and the regional team that FAMU used to play, they've all moved up, into the Georgia Southerns, the Kents, all those people have moved up. So the fact that you said, you know what, we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It works for us financially, because I try to explain something. You can't just say, I'm going to play at home and home, because money matters. To move those players, you can't just say, I'm going to play somebody 8 hours away and you losing money. That doesn't work. But as Coach said, if I go to Houston Christian, 45 minutes down the road, or Stephen, I'll go 4 hours up to Tarleton and turn right back. The money makes sense, because you are running a business and things like that. Doubt. So what I like the fact that you said, business-wise, this makes sense. It's not going to hurt the budget, because we're going to be able to turn right back around, get everybody, and the kids are not going to be taxed on the bus for 6, 7, 8 hours, because that's another thing too. I had to explain to somebody. If I tell you to go somewhere in Alabama, play a PWI to make somebody feel good, and your kids got to ride that bus, you think you don't win that game? And you got to leave at 2 in the morning? It doesn't make sense. Common sense has to come into play here. So I like the fact that you, use your common sense clearly that you have, but also you're saying, you know what, the way to build our brand is to beat these people. Because the one thing, and I'll say this, and trust me when I say this, AD, FAMU is always going to talk about, we won the most playoff games because we beat the PWIs. We ain't played in the playoffs and won a game in almost 20 years, but we still say it because we played them. We won the first national championship because we beat the PWI. That means something. So for the fact that I believe that you guys are going to play a strong game against Tarleton, a strong game against Stephen F. Austin, and play the game, and as you have a coach, because that's another thing we're going to get to, and you're building, those games are not going to be competitive. Those are going to be games that you guys are going to be expected to win. That's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, and that's that we're going in there expecting to win. Like, we don't never expect to lose. But here's the other thing too, right? Like I said, I mentioned being in Texas, right? Like, if we're going to recruit high-level kids out of Texas, we got to recruit against Tarleton, Stephen F. Austin, Incarnate Word, UTRGV, Houston Christian, and then even the next level up, UTSA, you know what I'm saying? Those schools, like, we have to compete against them. So we've got to be able to measure ourselves against them on the field and off the field, right? Because anybody worth their salt in Texas is going to get recruited by all of them. And so we've got to be able to win some of those recruiting battles.
Now, AD, I want to ask you something. That leads to the next thing. You're building something. Now, I couldn't verify this, but I saw reporting again, and I'm the type of person, I like to verify things. But Coach Jackson, when he came on, he talked to me and Coach Cole, and we talked about getting players. He told us straight up, he said, listen, if you come to Prairie View talking about some NIL, you ain't got no deal here. You ain't got no deal here. But wait a minute now, AD. Now, y'all don't win a championship, and there's word on the street all of a sudden, y'all got $200K for some NIL. And he talked to us. Now, is this true? Is this something that you have been working on?
We got some money to play with, man.
You got a little money.
I made sure that once we won that thing, that we was gonna have some money, because we got to be in the game, man. Like that, like that's part of it. Like, you know, we agreed, like, hey, man, this year is gonna be free. Next year can't be free again. And so, you know, we good now.
Well, see, I want to talk about it because that's so important. There was a viral clip again. Coach Mickey Joseph talked about the brand. And he talked about how these kids, hey, they not thinking about brands. They talking about $4,200. And he got a lot of feedback left and right about that. You know what I mean? But what I've said is, and this is what I'm talking about, we got to live in the 21st century, 2026. Prairie View is building a brand. It's hot. And I believe if all things are equal, and I've said this, and people know I stand on it, and Coach knows this, you're not going to tell me if I'm in Texas and we got kids and they're evaluating, and nothing against some of those fine schools down there in Texas, East Texas, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No disrespect. I don't know the name, but you know what I'm talking about. And I say, you come to Prairie View, you're going to get an excellent education. You're going to be around people that care. You're going to be a reliable alumni base that's going to help you get a job. And oh, by the way, I got a little something for you to, you know, take your girlfriend out. We're not going to lose that, AD. We're not going to lose that, the recruiting battle. Hey, what do you think?
Let me butt in. All you got to do is get them to campus.
Yeah.
You got that and the campus life.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Our campus is
you
beautiful,
know,
and
they
campus
just
is
had
beautiful.
they just had football week this past week, and they had 700 students show up at the party. They had a 90s party, coach, with football players. 700 students showed up.
So how important was that for you looking at this and saying, you know what, as we are building this foundation, looking at rev share and NIL, was that like when you first got in here and you said, was that on your roadmap to success that, hey, I want to build an NIL or rev share? Because I think it'll be more probably a rev share because of like using terminology and things like that.
Yeah. Because what I looked at when I first got here was cost of attendance, right? Which is, you know, scholarship and then a little bit of money that the federal guidelines say cost of attendance. Well, then the House settlement got passed, and so then it was rev share, and so, you know, I always want to be on the cutting edge, and I knew that the PWIs in the state of Texas that we're recruiting against were doing it. And so my thing is I always want to be able to compete against those in the state of Texas, right? If I compete against those in the state of Texas, we're going to do all right, right? Because Texas is about football in the state. And so what I wanted to be able to do is say, hey, man, if a young man is looking at different football programs, I want to be able to give him the same great student athlete experience that everybody else can provide. But if he wants an HBCU experience, that should be a no-brainer, right? We're the closest HBCU to California, so we focus on Cali a lot, right? And if I'm getting those guys here, I want to make sure we're taking care of them, right? And like I said, I got to be able to compete against the Tarleton, Stephen F. Austins because they've got NIL, rev share, and they're doing it. So I don't want it to be like, hey, man, I'd really love to go to PV, but they're giving me $8,000 and y'all can't give me nothing. Right? I want to be like, nah, man, if you're worth that, we're going to give it to you now. Now make a decision. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be, oh, you're not providing something they're not providing.
Now, I want to tie the last thing and I'm going to turn back to Coach because we're talking about the financials. One of the things, too, that Commissioner McClellan talked about was SWAC TV and the success and things about that. And he said the next stage of this, which I found out, and shout out to Mo Carter who came on Sipping on Sundays, is that he's going to utilize as it grows and brings in revenue, profitable revenue, that's going to be able to turn back into the schools. And he said NIL, but I want to make sure we're using the right language. It's going to basically be rev share. Is that rev something that it's going that they're going to be able to take SWAC TV revenue profit and be able to give it back to the conference members to use for rev share? Is that something that you guys kind of talked about when he brought that to you about SWAC TV, that where he was going to go with that hey, this is how we're going to also compete and help our universities?
Yeah. He talked about like when he laid out SWAC TV, because we all had to opt into the SWAC TV because there were some people that had their own deal, you know what I'm saying, streaming and stuff. And he was like, listen, man, if everybody gets in this thing, I believe we'll be able to package it once we're doing it for a couple years, be able to get the revenue, and I'm going to distribute it back to you guys and to do whatever you want with it, right? And so that was intriguing to me, man. And you know, it's funny because you talk about SWAC TV. So in 24, we was all ESPN, at least PV was, right? Like we wasn't on anything else because we had a good year in 23. We was expected to be very good in 24. Well, we weren't as good in 24. So when we didn't meet the expectations of what everybody thought we was going to do to be able to get back to the championship, we kind of got put on SWAC TV, right? So we had a whole bunch of SWAC TV. But when you look at the SWAC TV numbers, our games are through the roof as far as viewers because one, they put the TSU game on SWAC TV. They put
wait a minute. I want that to me was one of the seminal moments for SWAC TV. Because people, and Coach talked about this, it was hard to always find that game. And the level of play for that game, that's when people say, man, did you see that game on SWAC TV? And people were calling people and telling, hey, man, jump on SWAC TV, Prairie View and Texas are having a battle. You know, so I wanted to just let people know that I think that was the game, that was the foundation for people to really say, hey, man, we got something here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, that's all good. I was going to mention that. But the crazy thing, the highest viewed game was us and UTRGV.
Wow.
Because all them folks that couldn't get up here, they was excited to see their team play their first Division I game and whatnot. And so they got a big following down there. So the numbers was through the roof with SWAC TV. And then any other game we was on did pretty well too. And so we saw the power directly of SWAC TV, man, because we participate in a lot of games. And so now we're going to get a couple more ESPN games because we kind of did our thing. But like this SWAC TV thing, you know, we were already streaming all of our sports. So when he said you want to opt in, I was like, yeah, we're already doing it. We're already streaming softball and baseball and our volleyballs and basketball. So it was an easy fit for us. We were already doing it. And so, you know, we're kind of at that precipice of once we start getting on like, you know, cable TVs and stuff and selling on the streaming, that money is going to be able to help all of us.
All right, Coach, I'm gonna let you get back in. I had to get the money part out, you know, for my money part.
Look, Coach, you know, you fabulous on digging into the information. I just want to say, because, you know, we kind of coming to the end, Coach. I know you just now getting off of all these championships and planes. I would call Coach Goff. Yeah, I call everybody Coach Goff. So and I would call it, man, where you at, man? I'm great, get on the plane. I call you on the other end. Man, I was just there, and we just won tonight, man, and they flying us out tonight, and it was just it's been a whirlwind, man. But I can't say enough, man, and I'm gonna talk to the Prairie View fans. You know, Campbell was our money man, go. You know, and I know I said, well, boy, that put the pressure on you. Got all these championship coaches. Well, I'm putting the pressure on the alumni. Y'all got a championship athletic director, and believe me, people are watching. And the man deserves his too. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I'm Golf, man. I'm Golf. And I'm like Max, man. You know, hey, make Prairie View or continue to make Prairie View good again.
No
man,
doubt, no doubt.
You coming on the show. Anything, Coach? I know we gotta let you go, man. And
hey, man,
I definitely be there this summer. I'm gonna definitely come down this summer and spend some time with you guys, man. And I didn't say enough about your beautiful wife, man. I met her, Coach, man. I mean, this cat, man, athletic. Everybody athletic.
Yeah. Everybody in my family.
From mama on down, man. And we had a great time at State Fair. Campbell, you got to make one. Maybe you can have breakfast with us.
Well, see, AD, listen, I keep, and people know I talk about this. Listen, one of my good friends, her mother is class of 1959. She buys 3 tables every time you have your fundraiser down there, Miss Ann Williams. So listen, I'm gonna have to get that because Miss Ann Williams already got the tables for me. You tell me she buys 3. Old school.
Come on down, man. Come on down.
And let me give a shout out to my home girl, which I think you met, Miss Regina Bennett Crafter. And she got 30,000 for you, Coach. She got 30,000 for you, Coach. So y'all need to hug her and treat her good and make sure y'all get that money. You know,
no doubt.
She's been talking to your people and it hadn't got you yet. But anything that, as far as y'all fundraisers, some, you know, if somebody want to donate some money, you know, you got the numbers or the words.
No, we launched last year the Panther Athletic Club, man, which allows folks to donate straight to the athletic department, bypass everything else, go straight to either the Purple and Gold Fund, which is the athletic director's discretionary fund, or you can go straight to a sport. And the great thing is, if you put directly into a sport, that head coach will get a text that somebody just gave, right? Oh, wow. And so the Panther Athletic Fund, man, you can go on our website, pvpanthers.com, hit the donate buttons right there, man. Like I said, winning costs, you can never have enough money. We brought in last year as well Tamar, which is our third party, which sells our corporate sponsorships and our tickets. When I first got here in 23, I didn't have a full-time ticket person, a full-time corporate sponsor, or a full-time fundraiser. And so now we do have that. Like you said, building this thing out, man, to get to a place where we're at the same level as the FBSs, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get us at that level of operation. And so excited about where we're going, where we're headed, man. I got good people around me, man, because, you know, this ain't just about, y'all give me a lot of props, man, but it takes a lot of people, man, to join in this from the top to the bottom, man. You know, from the president to the managers to the student workers, man, and administrative staff and coaches and assistant coaches, man, fans, alumni, donors, corporate sponsors, man. It's that what I just call PV Nation, man. It's us all coming together and being successful, man. And I just happen to be the face of it when it's going well and the face of it if it's going bad.
Right. Now, AD Goff, I got to do one thing. I got to do one thing, and I'm teasing Coach Jackson. Listen, you said that when the money's donated, he gets a text, right? That what you just said?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Head coach will get a text.
AD Goff, I'm gonna put this out here. If y'all give Coach Jackson $10,000, he'll give you a personal phone call right back. That's what I'm saying. Can we make that happen? If he get a $10,000 check, can he call that number back and say thank you?
I'll call somebody back. All you gotta do is give me the number. Whoever donated 10 G.
That's the challenge.
I don't give you the tip now.
That's the challenge. The Golf Jackson challenge. If you drop 10 G's. AD Goff, as a matter of fact, hey man, AD Goff said he gonna even sign a football for you. Him and TJ.
Sign a football and give you my cowboy hat.
No, not the cowboy. Man, look,
I might get the cowboy.
Listen, AD. I'm gonna try to tell you, I'm the fundraiser guy. Now, when this happens, you gonna be say, damn, Campbell, I did not know. I'm trying to tell you, I bet 1,000 when I put these challenges out. It's gonna be somebody that's gonna get this message. And it's go and like I said, I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, but right before football season, you're gonna get that $10,000 call, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll sign the cowboy hat and send it to him and a football.
Hey, we've been doing
Coach Jack to sign it.
Yeah, we've been doing a good job, man, of pointing in the right direction because, you know, like I told you, man, you got 90 years of SWAC and we've seen the highs and the lows and in between, and you just don't know how important it is. That's why I SWAC'd you. And
I appreciate it. I feel different now. I feel official, man. I'm gonna have a different swag when I go to work tomorrow, man.
That's
like,
right.
yo, man,
I'm swag hours now, AD. Got those swag hours now.
Yeah, that's right, Coach. You tell them I'm swag. You know.
Yeah, I'm swag now, man.
They call the HBCU line and we'll get them straight. We'll read it all off. This man has done wonders and so fast, and we're trying to keep him in our because we need great ADs to bring on to our conference and make it stronger. You know, Absolutely. It ain't about being we love the swag and HBCU brand, but it's also about the worldly brand that we bring. And I think you guys are first class over there at Prairie View. Y'all do it the right way. And I know what the right way look like. It brings championships. It brings alumni back. And I just can't say enough. And I appreciate you, spending the time with us as well.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Invite me on, man, and giving us a platform and keep doing what y'all doing, man. I check y'all out all the time, regardless of who's on here, man. And like, you know, I love watching the back and forth of Twitter for or X, whatever you want to call it, man. The swag back and forth, man. It's just funny, man. I don't really comment. I just laugh back and forth, man, and be like, well, you know what? As long as they talking about somebody, man, I like it. And so, no, man, I appreciate y'all, man. And like I said, man, anytime y'all need me on, man, just holler at me. I'll jump on here and chop it up with y'all.
And tell my sis, LaTanya Thurston, thank you again. She makes sure that everything, all the T's was crossed and all the I's were dotted.
No doubt. Will do.
And I appreciate you. Thank you, Coach.
All right, fellas. Appreciate y'all, man. Much love. Peace.
Much love.
There it is. That is AD Goff, the championship AD coach.
Yeah.
From Prairie View A&M University.
Yeah. I'm not trying to put no other AD down. I mean, he has the athletic background. He's actually put a helmet on, and you can't say enough about the background he come from his mom being social AD and being an administrator with the NCAA. So he's real grounded. He's solid. He knows the He knows where the bodies are buried at in this athletic administration realm, and that's a plus.
Coach, what I've always been excited about, and again with this show, because just remember, this is the preeminent Coaches Corner, Coaches Show for HBCU and coaches, period. Because Coach, don't nobody do it like we do. We've had the biggest names, and Coach, we got some other big names coming up, working on Chris Wright, working on Kenny Blakeney. Or they're gonna be on, Coach. We just working on getting the times right and stuff like that. But I think the best thing, and again, this is credit to you, how much respect people have when you make that phone call and they jump on and they give us things to talk about, because when I saw that article, because I think what a lot of people don't understand, this was not a formal press conference that Commissioner McClellan did when he talked about making this change so Coach, I don't know if you saw this, just to kind of give you background. So they're not going to be able to play in the NIA schools anymore.
Yeah, I read up.
So the fact, and then he said that the ADs, and then we have an AD to say, hey, let me tell you what happened in the back room. And I was the one looking at doing the research, and for us to improve our ranking, this is something we need to do. Man, that happened on HBCU Coaches Corner, Coach.
Well, let me say this, and it's good. It's good. It's a good rule, but I think it should have been kind of a quiet rule, because you still got some schools in our conference need some wins, or need to be able to compete at that level, because Valley still don't have, and if they do have full 63, they still climbing. UAPB is still climbing. You know what I'm saying? We still got some, but I really feel what the commission did to us, the Lincolns of the world. We don't need to be playing them. You know what I'm saying? They barely even got to get transportation there. So I'm all for that. I am for that. But sometimes when you take over that job, and we do have some down schools, when you look at our top schools, you got your Alabama State, your Jackson State, your Prairie Views now, your Southern universities. But then you got that bottom tier and your Gremlins. Then you got that bottom tier that's still trying to, get them some wins. And it's tough. It's tough when you can't put those wins together. Here's an example. Everybody is talking about Coach Jackson up at Delaware State. Out of the 6 games, Coach, and you'll test me, 4 of them was Division II schools. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, sometimes when you get in that startup program, you need some confident builders.
Because listen, let me ask you a question.
So that was just another way of looking at it.
Well, no. I think that, and this is what I'm about to set this up. What always bothers me is, and again, this is no disrespect, people like myself, I'm gonna put me in this. We ain't never coached. We ain't never been no AD, and we got an opinion about something that we have no clue. But it sounds good. Blah, 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 blah. Because you know why I know? Because I did a Google search and I blah, 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 blah. You just heard this from a championship coach of why this happens. And I think that's the difference what we have on this show. Because it's not, I love everybody, because I think this is important for our schools to have everybody doing these podcasts. I don't care if you like me or not. I watch everybody because I think it helps all the schools. Even if you off on left field and don't know what you're talking about, you know what? You got a right to not know what you're talking about because people watching it, right? Even with Scotty, people didn't like sometimes Scotty, but you know what? He brought a lot of juice to this building and it's still here. That's why we got almost 100 people, over 100 people watching right now. So it's important. But with that being said, I like the fact that you gave that nuance and that perspective. It's not just black and white and things like that. There's the reason why you do some of these things. And it's understand. Now, for me, what I will say is what I'm going to be curious about to see what happens, because are you going to have now where we got a 12-game schedule, and I'm talking about the SWAC, right? 8 games already SWAC, you got 4. So most people are going to do like family. You're going to play the money game, the Power 5, Power 4 game, and then there's 3 other games, right? Are those going to be all of a sudden? You're going to have 3 games left because you're going to have the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So is that going to be all of a sudden now you're going to see us playing the Lanes, the Tuskegees, the Mile? Is that just going to be filled up with that? Always State.
But still, we here's the other caveat to that. We still have Amish to our Division II schools. You know what I mean? They need them paydays too as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we still got to take care of little brother. You know what I mean? And if we do that, then that puts them in bad situations as well. So do I like it? I think it should have been a quiet rule, one, or a specific rule of whether the finance of the program, whether the records, playing Lincoln and all these kind of schools, it's good for the teams that can stand on their own, like the Prairie Views, your Alabama States, your Jackson States, your Southerns, you know what I'm saying? But not necessarily more as the schools that don't have that big following, don't have that money, and they can do that. You know what I'm saying? And a 1st or 2-year coach. I mean, I'll admit, I played Texas College when I first came in. I played Texas College. I played Shaw, which had won a championship, which, and so I did play some Division II schools. Why? Man, I needed to be able to motivate my players, to get off, to see where I need to improve at as a coach. And this has been going on a long time. I remember when my brother played in Nebraska in 1981, coach. They played University of Pacific and beat them 70 to something.
I remember that game.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's been a part of this thing, this football game a long time, man. And for you to put clamps and say, all right, SWAC, for us to get respect, we can only play Division I AA schools. At the end of the day, is that really going to give us SWAC? Look at our basketball program. They play in those first 10 schools, nothing but Division I teams, right? So at the end, when we start off the season 0-10, how positive is that? Are we going to put the same rule on basketball that we can only play Division I teams in certain conferences? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And they play these schools for a reason. In football, you play lower division schools to get your team going, Okay. Hey, we need some victories. There's some things we need to work on, tune-up game. In basketball, they play them for money. They money games.
Right.
So, what we talking about here?
Well, I think perception is reality, right? And I think, and I'm listening to AD Goff, and I think what happened is we had a couple, and again, this is a business. Like I said, when I see things, I am never going to be the first one to say, I know why you did. No, you don't, because you didn't even talk to the person. You know what I mean? But we have people that do that. So I always sit back and say, let me look at it. And I know for a fact, because fam, you fell in this. We had a school, I won't say their name, we were supposed to play it. They backed out. We were going to play Lincoln too, because we had to have a home game. Right. Now, FAMU, coach, FAMU's history. We play anybody, anywhere, anytime. But guess what? We will play Lincoln that weekend. If we had to, and I think we finally got West Florida, and that's how we got West Florida, something like that.
This thing is so bigger than just saying, okay, we're not playing no more Division II teams. And it's
but we can play Division II. We can't play below the Division II.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, man, to lock your team in like that. I'm just being honest about it. I mean, let's talk about finance. Okay. Would somebody rather see Tuskegee and Alabama State than Alabama State and Troy? Because I've coached that game. I was at Alabama State. We played 100%. Troy. Nobody comes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody comes. And that was when Troy was Division I AA.
Right.
Or do they come to the Tuskegee and Alabama State game? You know what I'm saying? Do they come to the Tennessee State and Gardner-Webb game? I got to throw Tennessee State out. I'm sorry. Do they go to UAPB and Southern, or let me get a Lane, or do they go to UAPB and another school, University of South Arkansas?
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't. They would come to the UAPB Lane game more than they would come to that. And I get it. I'm not against I think he had. I think the commissioner had to make a decision because I don't know if you know, at times Lincoln couldn't get to games and not
Right.
enough players, and it really looked at unprofessional. And I get that. I get that.
And I think that's
Lincoln, Pennsylvania, Lynchburg. You know, I get that.
Yeah. I think that, and that's the reason why you got to look at it. And because I'm going to ask you a question about something. We talked about this on Sipping on Time, but you're a coach. Branding is important. And I think what Commissioner McClellan is looking at is trying to elevate the SWAC brand.
Right.
And one way of doing that is saying, you know what, let's have a standard level of competition. And then like what you see with Prairie View is saying, you know what, now we're going to have a standard level of competition. We're going to face some competition that might be a little bit better right now.
Right.
But they're in our footprint and we're going to challenge them because like you said, we're recruiting against them. And that's the thing. That's the thing for me that I always appreciated. Again, when for FAMU, they wouldn't play people, you know what I mean? In school that we didn't know, and like you say, nobody came, but that was good. That's what they did. So I think for us, and again, I want to say Coach Dr. McCullough is doing something I think is very important. You can't tell these teams to go play people like the Tarleton's if you're not going to give them bullets in their gun, Coach. Right. And what I mean by that, he's saying, listen, we're going to get a rev share going. So when you go and recruit, you can at least get the player the Tarleton's is trying to get. That's important, Coach. So now I'm going to give you bullets because I hate when people say, you know, it's been my argument. Oh, go play something. I'm like, bro, Kennesaw State got $100 million sitting up there. You're not going to beat Kennesaw. But I tell you what, give me my money, and then we're playing. Now, Coach, I want to talk about this because this leads into about branding. And Mickey Joseph, your guy, made a stat. I don't know if you heard this, but I want to get – okay. Well, I'm going to play it for everybody because I want to hear it again. And I want to get your opinion because you, like I said, you are a coach. You've had to face these situations.
Absolutely, you got to remind them because they're not falling in love with the brand. Absolutely, you got to remind them because they're not falling in love with the brand. They're falling in love with the dollar sign. And I'm the one. I'm gonna speak the truth. They don't fall in love with the brand anymore. The brand's out the door. They want to know who's going to pay them and who's going to pay them. And now, once the money becomes even, then the brand comes in effect. But until you get the money, if they're getting $4,200 a month, until you can get the $4,200 a month, that's when you can sell the brand. Other than that, you can't. You got to get in the money game first. You got to be to get in their ballpark about what they're looking for. Then you can sell the brand. But yes, we still have a strong brand. We have things that we do around here to make sure the brand stays relevant. But it's a strange day in college athletics, and you got to deal with it, or it's going to deal with you.
Coach, that was a clip that a lot of people had a lot of opinions about. I was the one we talked about this last night. I totally understood what he said. I didn't have a problem with it. Some people did. You know, some of my family folks were like, you know, what does that mean? And I'm a big basketball fan. And I'm a University of North Carolina fan, and I follow basketball. There's two big brands in college basketball, Kentucky and North Carolina. They wasn't on top because branding does not matter. Well, back in the day when you were trying to get Vince Carter coming out of Daytona Beach, Maryland, when Dean Smith come knocking on your door, hey, you got to go. You got to go. When you saw that big blue rolling up, Kentucky, you know, they were paying a little bit underneath that table. You showed up because that big blue meant something. So, Coach, what do you think about what Coach Mickey Joseph said? And how do we balance what he said and square that with a brand like Grambling, a proud brand, the first national HBCU brand, versus what he's saying now, the reality of what it is today? Can I'm on a brand, they want $4,200. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with him 100% because I got to say that because in my era, that wasn't the issue in my era. So I gotta be able to stay within my era of I didn't have that. Matter of fact, it was the opposite. It was, you know, the big schools paid the players and we kind of come in there after that, you know, pretty much in reverse. I mean, it's the same story. You know, kids went places for money, and then there was that opportunity where the brand sold some of the kids. I still think the brand helps, but I think he's on to it 100%. Ain't no question. I mean, everybody's got their hand like this. Back in the day, the hand used to be like, "What can we do for you?" So I agree with him totally. But here's what I also want to say, that now, you know, that don't take away from the coaching. That don't take away from you getting in there and winning some of those battles. You know what I'm saying? And those battles still can win of, hey, I'm coaching you. You know what I mean? And you still got that opportunity. And here's the other battle. Every kid that gets money, they ain't the player. So you got to be a great evaluator. You know, don't just throw it out and say, "Oh, well, this is why I can't get them because I don't have no money." There's still that coaching aspect of it that you can make things different, and you got to go and find the right players for your staff and what level you at. So I never want to forget that there's still that coaching aspect of it, of who you are, what you represent, what you can do for that kid. Yeah. But yet, some kids are after that money, coach, and they don't care who they go play for. They going to go play for the highest bidder. And sometimes maybe you don't want that kid, because there's at the end of the day, you know, you got to be able to walk on that field, button it up, and get after some people. Indiana showed you that. You know, they didn't have the most richest players there. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have all that. And that's why it's important that coaching aspect still is in there, that you go out and find some players. And I think on the 1AA level, I think that's still an effect about how effective of you are as a recruiter and as a head coach. Of course, you can't compete against the big boys. You know, they bring in six figures. You know what I'm saying? And you're not doing that. So I do get that.
Sorry about that, Coach. I said when I heard it, of course, it's a clip, and you know, again, and you know, we don't know what was asked before or after. Of course, that was a clip. But one of the things, I think you hit it right on the head. With that being said, and hey, listen, we saw it down in Prairie View. Coach T-Jack came on here and said, "Listen, we ain't got nothing. If you're looking for something, we ain't. Even if you're looking for it, we ain't got it."
Right.
And guess what? They went and won the SWAC championship.
Right.
I'm
and
pretty sure.
And went to the national
friend of the show,
Black College.
Chennis Berry.
Yeah.
There you go. I would dare say South Carolina State probably don't have one of the biggest NILs in HBC football either. But I tell you what they got.
North Carolina Central
guys are great coaches. So the thing is, Coach, as you said, it's still coaching match.
Yeah.
What was that, Coach?
I said it does matter on the 1AA level. It does matter, and I get it. Yeah, you know, it's just too many kids out there. It's too many kids out there, and I know guys got money, but it's also you got to go out and find the ones that was fit into what you're trying to do. I just think that. I mean, even when you wasn't paying players, you still as coaches had to get people. The highest team that was paying players wasn't always winning championships, because that's what it's about. It's about winning championships.
Right.
It was about finding kids to fit in your program. But I'm not taking anything away from what Coach was talking about. There's a lot of truth to that as well.
And that's the thing about it, you know, and these are the things that, again, when you're looking at what AD Goff talked about, and the ADs, I think they're trying to understand these challenges and meet them, right? So now we've got this avenue with SWAC TV. AD Goff said, "Hey, listen, I got to go raise money. I've got to go get you." What did he say? I'm sitting there, Coach. We have them with a sponsor. You heard that?
Let me say this too. Winning matters. A winning program matters, Coach. It matters. You can have all the money you want. you don't win, Coach, you struggling. Don't nobody want to, at the end of the day, Coach, don't nobody want to go to no losing program or a program that's not respectable. A program is not running the right way. There's some programs right now that got all this money. Them kids running out of there, man, like 900, Coach. You know what I mean? They ain't necessarily running for more money. They running because they don't like the program. So I don't care where we go with this money deal. As coaches, you got to be able to run a good and fair and meaningful program where that kid is getting something out of it more than just a dollar bill. I just believe in that.
All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you one thing. So there was another big news I wanted to get your opinion about. Of course, FAMU got hit with sanctions with APR, and that we won't be able to a postseason ban, and we got a spring ban for the following spring.
Right.
There's two questions I want to ask you. No, we ain't talking about this right here. What I'm about to ask.
No, I'm saying that we knew that way back.
Remember yeah. Right. Yes.
And some of the guys that we talked to was like, "Oh man, this is about to come." Right?
Yeah. We knew well in advance. You're right. Yeah. Right. We knew it was coming. Right. When you're a coach, Quinn Gray, that's a solid coach. That's a rattler and things like that. And you've been handed this, Coach, and you've been in situations where, as you say, it went right. What do you think the first thing that Coach is going to think about far as this year keeping his team motivated? And also, how do you deal with the fact that you don't have spring practice? How does that work? You know, that you can't practice in the spring. So let's talk about this year and how you keep your team motivated because they can't play for a championship. And also, functionality-wise, how do you work that of not having the spring practice?
Well, firstly, it ain't the end of the world to me, because I think in the spring you find players, and in the summer, I think when you have all your players in the summer, I think that's a better way of coming in to the program and being ready to play. I know they can't have spring, but they can lift weights. You know, they can train. So that's what's important to me. You know, who's dedicated to the program, who's coming. When I went to Texas Southern, I mean, man, we had about 30 players for the spring. Our offensive line had to play back and forth, so it wasn't really nothing great, you know, about my first year there as a spring. Firstly, if I'm going back to the bargaining table, y'all need to give me another year. This is a wasted year. So first, let's talk about that. Let's make sure we secure about that. You know what I mean? And that's taking care of me and mama and the kids and all that. That's important. I think the other important thing is to get them there for the summer, for not only for the workout, but most importantly, academically. Because I need to know what kids gonna make it, what kids are serious about the academics, so I can continue to bring new kids in. I mean, you can still bring kids in and sign them. That's one thing. And like I said, in the summertime, I want to get them developed. So to me, the biggest thing, the biggest hurdle, man, is not being able to play for, you know, some championship. You know what I mean? And it's really bad for the seniors. You know what I mean? So what do you do? Right. It's a double bad for senior players. Why? Man, you're leaving, you know, when that mid-season come, if we ain't competing for first place, I got to start getting ready for next year. So, you know, as a coach, you know, your heart go out to some of these players, you know, or do these players get out of there? Because he's probably losing some players as well. They're really saying that postseason mean a lot to them. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to try to hold on to some kids. You know, it's really a drastic situation for a football coach to be going through that. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Coach,
like, can't practice you another, and you might lose a lot of players.
I want to ask you this. You being a coach, take us in the field house. How do you get, because again, all these HBCUs have a challenge. You coached at multiple HBCUs. What is the process? And again, we know Coach Gray is going to do a great job. But if you were at FAMU, what would be the process to make sure that now you got these kids on academic track? What was some of the things that you did to say, hey, you know what? I made sure this was this, or what needs to be in place? Because clearly we ain't had that in place at FAMU for the last 20 years. Right. So that's obvious. So that's why because what people try to do, they try to put a blame on somebody. And that's why I did the show. I'm like, man, you can't, this thing went back 20 years and every coach handed bad APR to the next coach. So how could you build that when everybody's transferring out? But tell us from right now, you come in, I've hired Johnny Cole, I've got an APR problem. What are you going to do? What do I need to give you to be successful?
If that ain't a priority, it's just as much as you coming to practice and playing football as a football coach. I feel sorry. They need to take your whistle and everything else. That's what we're here for. Winning championships is great, Coach. It is. But you know what the greatest thing? I still get calls from players and stuff and calling me and let me know what I meant to their life. That's part of the program. Let me tell you something, Coach. You don't win championships. And championships ain't just a ring, and that championships is seeing your kids walk across the stage. And if you ain't in for that, then I feel sorry for all those guys who have coached those kids and hadn't put them on academic. You couldn't play for me if you can't go to class and do what you do. That point blank.
No, wait a minute. But I'm asking
and that's
you.
A part.
You're here now. Yeah, you're here now, though, Coach. I want you to tell me what you would do now. You're here. Yeah. I'm handing you the key to the Cadillac that got a flat tire. What would you do to put us back on the APR track?
Academics is a priority, just like lifting weights. If kids that lift weights, Coach, and this ain't Johnny, Coach, this is statistically known, are good students. So that means that we're having morning breakfast, everybody, coaches, everybody, we taking roll. Coaches, we're checking classrooms. Players, you're sitting in the front 3 row with your back on the chair and your feet flat on the ground. Because if you can't go to school and academically, I don't want you. Because when that game starts, Coach, that's where games are won and lost at. It ain't necessarily what you've done on the field. You've conditioned yourself to make sure those things are taken care of off the field. So when you get on the field, you ain't worried about that. That's why we're here. And now that we're getting paid, some of that stuff is being lost, and it shouldn't be lost. That should be one of any coach's priority, whether they paying kids or not, is, man, you're going to be in that classroom. My staff is checking. I'm not depending on my football operations. My staff is making sure that breakfast is mandatory. Kids are where they're supposed to be. What the weight room doing? If I got those 2 things going, Coach, we're going to be playing winning football. And I'll put my job on that. I went to Lane where they had, 15 losing seasons. I went to Alabama State, had the same thing with APR. We went to Tennessee State, same thing. And when I showed at Texas Southern, it was the same thing. Kids weren't going to class. They're not going to class, Coach. You're not playing winning football. You're not. You're just not on that level. Now, when you go to major levels where they got counselors and people that's doing their work for them and all that, that's a whole total another story. But I've never been in places. Alabama State had APR problems before we showed up. Tennessee State, it was just getting going with APR. You know what I mean? Lane College. Oh man, wow. It was horrible. So if I'm at Florida A&M, we focus on academics. Because it's a sale. It's you trying to say, hey son, and this is one of my favorite lines. I don't care about the logo on the helmet. I care about the person that's wearing the helmet. So when you play and you win me championships and I get bonuses money, and if I don't push you towards getting across that stage where you can take care of your family, hey man, I've done you a disjustice, and I can sleep at night, Campbell. I can sleep at night. I'm an academician myself. I got a master's, my undergrad in civil engineering. I played basketball and football, walk across the stage on time. I'll be less of a man and a father to take that rim to let you hit that football field and you not take care of your academics. I would be less of a coach. And I know Coach Gray, I could tell the way he is and how he's handled, and the people love him and what kind of player he was. I faced him. I've seen this kid play. I know he's going to get that program. And it's great. It's wonderful, man. You guys couldn't have got a better guy. He's going to compete with his heart, with his strength. You got Alabama A&M with Eddie Robinson the same way, cerebral player. You got my man up at Alabama A&M, coach. I mean, it's some great coaches coming in this conference. I still got some questions on some, but I think Florida A&M did the right thing. And he will get it going in the right direction because he loves that university. He loves the players, man, and he going to coach from his heart, and he going to give it everything he got. And his family understand that. They Florida A&M people. So, hey, man, look, I'm looking for great things. I'm looking for them battles again, the big games. Coach, we used to watch them, man. The Florida A&Ms and the Jackson States. It's going to be on. It's going to be on, man. I think that was a super hire.
So, Coach, we got the president and charter member of the PV12. Wait, what do we do? Bro, wait a minute, bro. Hold on now.
Is that his speech?
This how comfortable I am right now. This how comfortable I am.
All right, hold on. I'm about to say, yeah, because I'm about to say, listen, man. Let me say this real quick.
Hey, Coach,
to all you
wait, hold on. What, Coach? Coach,
that's how comfortable I am. That's how comfortable I am.
Let me say something. Listen, men, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna help y'all out. When y'all go out there to the beach, those pictures that you see the legs and the feet, those are for women to do that, to show their pedicures, man. We don't want to see y'all feet. So I don't want this summer, I don't want to see none of y'all doing the picture with your feet and the beach. That's for the girl with the pretty manicures and the pedicures. Now, I got some of that day to show you how to do it, but I don't want to see none of y'all men's feet.
Listen, I'm comfortable. I'm so comfortable right now.
Listen, hold on. The next time you come on, I want you to sit back and be laid back like this. I want to see that handsome, but I don't want to see your feet. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If I see any of y'all doing them pictures anymore, we calling it.
Yeah, put on there, y'all going.
Come on, man.
Coach, you
come on, man.
You coach. Y'all got my guy.
Grace, you know I ain't lying. That's for Grace. That's for A. Listen, that's for A. Willis 3. We only want to see Grace and A. Willis 3 feet.
Hey, tell Edwin Moore. Tell Edwin Moore stop hating on North Louisiana. First of all, we ain't gonna hate on North Louisiana. All right, you know what I'm saying? We got some ballers in North Louisiana. But listen, Coach, that's how comfortable I am right now. I'm in the golden era of Prairie View athletics. You know what I'm saying? We have made it to the golden era with Coach Cole himself mentioned. You didn't let Coach Cole finish. I wish you wouldn't have cut off Coach Cole, because he was leading somewhere when he said, listen, since the 60s, I know, Campbell, that was a little bit before your time, but let the man cook. He was talking about history there, all right? He was about to talk about some good history right there, because there was a golden era. And I told y'all before, when y'all came on the show, I say, listen, we get to choose what we point to. Coach Cole, when they came on, I invited your co-hosts on. I invited Scotty on, and Perry. They was trying to drill me against the wall, because I said we got expectation, Coach Cole. Because I said, listen, we got a standard over here. And I say we get to choose what we point to as our standard. We ain't got to stop in the 90s, Coach Cole. We ain't got to stop in the 80s. We can go all the way back to the 60s if we want to. All right, we can go all the way back to the 60s when it was time after time after time again. And all I'm saying is we back here. We're in a golden era of Prairie View athletics. But really, I came on to say, go ahead.
No, you finished. No. I'm a Kanye. No,
let
you
finished, Coach. They
Yeah,
look.
you finished.
Prairie View's time.
Yeah. Let you finish. Go ahead.
Look, it ain't Grambling. It ain't Jackson State. It's Prairie View.
Crumbling dynasties. They all crumbling dynasties. Listen, let me tell you. I really came on because I know AD Goff, shouts out to AD Goff, right? He was talking about, everything that's going on. And I want to tell you, man, just from somebody who's been watching the program, and many of the PV12, right? You know what I'm saying? And in this chat can testify. They are rolling. They're on the beginning stage of what is planned for this program, just athletically as a whole, right? And the things that they're doing, the connection, I'm just help you understand things that we've been saying. Yo, this is almost like low-hanging fruit, things that are right there to take the program to the next level, to take the school to the next level is right there. Getting out in the community, the one thing that we keep saying, man, all around us. I mean, I know Mr. Campbell, you know, Cole, you already know, Houston is growing like crazy, bro. People move here every doggone day from all over this country. So the reality is when we talk about Prairie View and where it's at, Houston is moving to swallow up Prairie View. That's just how the city is moving. It's the reality. Cypress and Fairfield and the Houston Texans are about to put their practice facility literally about 15 to 20 minutes from the Prairie View camp. You just understand the movement that's going on around here. So getting out of the community is huge. Even today, them going and hooking up with the Houston Methodist people, they already been a sponsor. But you got to tap in with your sponsors, right? Coach Campbell, you know these things. You got to build with the people who've been giving you money. Simple things like that. Going to the community, going to the MLK parade, Coach Campbell, and being the main speaker. I mean, in the community around here, building with those people. You talking about trying to average 15,000? Well, who going to help you get there? Because I'm from North Louisiana, like Edwin Moore say. Me and my dad went to Grambling games going up. My dad was not a Grambling alum. He was not. He still got season tickets right now. He called me all the time telling me how horrible Grambling going to be. Okay, so listen, I'm just saying, we went to Grambling games all the time. Your community is going to help you get to that certain level that you're trying to get to, not just alum, not just students. It needs to be alum and students, but that next level is from the community. And we're doing that stuff now. The stuff he talked about, Tamar, man, we have a Prairie View alum who is the title sponsor of this 2026 Labor Day Classic. What? I mean, you talking about money, talking about people who have the ability to put money into the program. They're building now with those type of people to bring that money back, right? By cutting up what we have access to. And so it's a lot of things that's going on. They're building in a lot of different ways. So I know he didn't like specifically say some of those different things, but listen, this train is really moving. And the winning is just like supercharging that. Like, the more Coach Jackson and win, it's just supercharging all the stuff that they're doing. But they're moving in a great direction, man. And man, the PV community is just so excited, man. So,
well, can I slip some in here?
Coach, you go ahead. You go ahead first.
Y'all better make sure you take care of Coach Jackson.
Hey,
make sure you take care. You know what I mean? Because Prairie View's in a situation. The campus life is off the chain. I mean, it ain't never been a time when I was in school and after school running up there, and it's off his end. And as like you say, as it grows, who knows? You know, you guys compete for Division 1A school. Ain't nothing really down there. I mean, you got Texas A&M and you got U of H. I mean, what it can be is you know, I mean, it's unlimited. You know, and you know, you got two people in AD Golf and the president, and they all in line with what's important, and your basketball team is doing well, man. I mean, the growth and all that, but you know, you got to be realistic and got to be able to take care of these kind of people and not let them slip off the door. You know what I mean? And Coach, I can't say enough. I mean, that Tremaine, I knew when he was an assistant coach under me that it was greatness. I knew his assistant coach, Daryl Colbert, you know, a championship guy. I know now that he just went out and hired Manning as his O-line coach, another guy who worked for me, man. These guys love the game, man. These guys are what you call football coaches, man. So, and I know, and the reason why, look, I'm relaxed too. You know, I can play in my truth. I know when I come, they're going to win. They're going to set it out. They're going to have a great time. You know what I mean? I don't blame you. I mean, Coach, they're going to be up in the top three. Let's just say that. And I really should say the top two. You know what I mean? You might as well be doing this, man. Man, what we doing out there? Man, what we doing? You know what I mean? We barbecue. I really feel, and I know being around this conference for 40 years, the other schools are not doing what they're doing. And I know that. I know that. And that's how I feel. But go ahead, Coach Campbell.
Let me put my I-20, I-10 hat on. I-20 for Jackson State and I-10 for FAMU. Listen, he said, wait a minute. I went to Florida A&M University. Once again, the #1 public HBCU. I know y'all saw that again. For probably what the 7th, 8th time. You know what I mean? We don't even, it's just a natural thing for us. So I had to go check something. Because when you said this is a golden era, I said, hey, because Perry taught me this last night. He said, Mr. Campbell, let's add ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, please define to me what an error is. Because last I checked, an error has more than one day or more than 1 year. So just to let you know, for all the people in the back. So for all of us that are not PV people, this is what an error is. An error can last decades, centuries, or even a million of years. History, an error is marked by major events, plural, or cultural shifts. We'll go down here, but let's go down here.
Hey, they go to that championship again.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Sports, an error can be much shorter, sometimes just a few years, defined by dominance in a specific phase. As a championship team's error might last 5 to 10 years. Bruh, you got 1 year. How y'all got an error, bruh? It's just an error.
I love this. I love it. I love this, right?
This ain't me. Hey, this is just ChatGPT.
Can I say this, though, Coach Campbell? Now, remember now, they don't won the West a couple times in the last 5 years.
Wait.
When they never won nothing.
Well, listen, so I'm going to put my Jack State hat on. If that's the case, the Jack State says it's a Jack State error because they don't want the SWAC.
We ain't got no problem with Jackson State.
Hey, listen. First of all, we don't got no crab in the bucket mentality in the first place here at Prairie View. So, listen, FAMU can be in the era. Jackson could be in the era. Central could be in the era. Okay. That has literally nothing to do with whether Prairie View is in the area or not. That has nothing to do with me, right? You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you I love this, though, because, listen, at one point in time, somebody told y'all to jump on this .com bubble. And some of y'all didn't. And you lost money because you waited too late, right? Somebody told y'all at one point in time, Bitcoin was going to go through the roof. Now, regardless of whether you in year 1 or year 10 of that, it still went through the roof. Now, we may be in year 1 of the era, but I'm telling you, we in the golden era of Prairie View football and athletics. Now, whether you jump on it now or 5 years from now, ain't got nothing to do with me, Mr. Campbell. I'm just telling you, we're in the golden era of Prairie View athletics. You do with that what you will. All right, you know what I'm saying? But listen, I know there's a lot of sponsorship opportunities. We got a lot of black women on campus. There's a lot of great sponsorship opportunities right now with the great and illustrious Prairie View A&M University. I think you need to come on over, bring them dollars over here, Mr. Campbell. Listen, we got some great sponsorship opportunities because the stadium gonna be filled up because we're in the golden era. So I'm trying to tell you, get in early.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Where you think Prairie View football gonna finish next year? 1, 2, or 3?
Who, me?
No, Mr. Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Well, I already know you. I already know you said.
No, listen. Wait a minute. Hold on. See, one thing about it, I'm never a homer. I'm an honest broker. But here's what I'm gonna say though: Prairie View should be #1 in the West. They should be. Okay. They should be. I'm gonna pick Southern.
Why they should be? Because they should be? Because
no, wait. No, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you because wait a minute. Because I'm gonna tell you. If you look at everybody, they've got their coaches back. They got $200,000 NIL. And AD Goff said that. Southern's got a new coach. UAPB. We know we're not worried about them. Alcorn. I don't think they got anything. So the only other school over there that can challenge them, and I don't know what their quarterback said. That's why I'm saying people making these.
Look at Moses. Look, man. Look.
I just cannot have people talking about this. Wait a minute. This is what I want to get on. So this is what I'm gonna hold you accountable right here. You want me to tell you what a golden era look like? I want to see that stadium packed every home game. Because that's when you know what?
You're talking.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Because see, to me, Lionel, when there's a golden era, that means you ain't the only one believe that. That means another 15,000 people believe that. See, that's the only thing about it. See, you can come on here and say it's a golden era. I need the mother 14,999 to say the same thing. That's what I need to see.
Hey, Campbell, now you don't hit the spot.
No, well, listen, because see, I went to FAMU during the golden era.
Right.
I know what eras. See, I know what eras look like. Multiple championships in a 3 or 4 year fan. I'm from Jackson. I've seen 8 out of 10 years. That's an era to me. I've seen it do that now. But what I believe is
what I'm saying is, when it comes to fans, Jackson State 28,000, Southern University right about 22, 23. Prairie View, you got to come on, man. Y'all got to enjoy it while it lasts, because I'm pretty sure back in the 60s, they used to sell those places out.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to
let y'all get away with this. No, see, this is the thing. Now, if y'all want me to listen, here's the thing. Y'all are proud member of the SWAC, and Lana had to let me know we a charter member, and we don't forget. Listen, if you want to be with the big boy, it's alumni fan support. I'm not gonna let y'all. Now y'all 12, because I will give. Lana was one of the first people I actually met from Prairie View, his age, and that brother was riding when y'all was up and down. I respect that. G Boom, Isaiah, D Black, all y'all boys. You know what I'm saying? And ladies too. That I'm not naming. But what I'm saying is, when you want to impress the rest of us that have been there, man, y'all got to pack that stadium, bro. I want to see that game rock.
But we did open.
That's the thing. Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead, Coach. Go. Sorry.
I said we did open up the show. We did open the show that man, ain't nobody talked about Prairie View like this in 50 years.
Thank you, Coach. I said, Coach. Now wait a minute. We done had T Jack on. Now this is in the last 6 weeks. I done had T Jack on. We done had T Jack on. We had Coach Smith on, and we had AD Goff. I ain't even had but one FAMU coach on in the last year. Wait a minute.
And you don't have Coach Bland. You gonna have Coach Bland on in 2 weeks too, by the way. But we gonna leave that for another period. You don't have Coach Bland on. Yeah. I'm not a prophet, but you're gonna have Coach Bland on too.
Now, Grace. Now you are. You looks like you're a lovely alumni of Prairie View.
Thank you, Grace.
It ain't about impressing us. It's about impressing your AD so y'all get them checks. When you fill them stadium, guess what he do? He got some more money to do some more things. So you can't play that game with me, because when you see one thing about people talk about Jackson State, they put 30,000 in that building. That's why they keep that thing rolling. That's why they got to go play
we keep talking about. See, I love the scriptures. I love the word of God, because one of the things that tell me in Corinthians is. It says a fool will compare himself among himself, right? Do not compare yourself among yourself. I'm not comparing myself to Jackson, not comparing myself to, so why would I do that? I'm Prairie View, right? I compare myself to myself. So that's why, like last year, when we sold 1,000 season tickets, now I'm gonna tell you, this is the thing. We sold 1,000 season tickets. We bigged up that. We was excited. We happy, because I don't care about what nobody else has done. That's what we've done. We made progress in our program. I don't care about no other program. We made progress in our program by selling 1,000 season tickets. If we compare ourselves to other people, we wouldn't even celebrate our success, my success, right, as Prairie View, because of what somebody else has done. So we're not on that train, right? We're not going to be on that train. We're never going to get pulled to that train. No, I'm telling you.
Listen, I know you're a man of God.
We're never gonna get pulled to that train.
Every day there's a measuring stick of somebody that's running fast that you chasing. So don't ever tell me that. I don't want to hear that.
How we chasing when we in first place? How we chasing in first place?
You're gonna tell me that Prairie View right now, which I think I saw the ranking was number 20, don't want to be number one, the number one public HBCU?
We're chasing ourselves. We're chasing ourselves. Our numbers.
Yes.
Numbers to be better.
Yes.
No, the answer is no. The answer is go ahead.
Do you want to be national champions? National champions
means
you're one.
I want to be national champions. Yeah, of course.
That means you're chasing the championship. So you're not saying we're just resting on our laurels, because
chasing a championship is not chasing. But this is the difference, though, Mr. Campbell. We're not chasing another individual, another institution. I think those are two different things, right? So we're looking at two different things. We're just, and again, we're talking about the program, talking about the fans, all this stuff. When we're talking about that, though, right? I'm not basing nothing on. You can't tell me nothing about other schools doing and what they've done. I'm not worried about them, right? You know what I'm saying? I worry about me and what I've done and what my goals are. Because my goals to somebody else may be nothing, right? But if I look at it from their lens or from their view, I'm not even celebrating something that is celebratory for me. You see what I'm saying? That's my whole point, right? So we're building. Do we want to be where we are? No. Nobody should want to be where they are. They should always want to get better, right? But I'm not judging. You're never going to be able to pull me in and judge and say, well, you didn't average 15,000. Okay, I don't care. I averaged 9,500 this year. I'm excited. We're moving forward. We're moving up. We're making progress, right? You didn't get $1 million into the program, but you know what? We got $440,000 into the program this year, right? And we got over so and so many donors. Next year, my goal is to be this many donors and to be at 700,000. Has nothing to do with what FAMU can do. Has nothing to do with what Southern can do. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference, right? I'm judging myself based on me, based on my progress. Now, if I do what I'm supposed to do, I believe that I should win a national championship. I should be able to win a women's golf championship or whatever it may be, right? But I'm chasing myself. When you talking about running, I run based on what my numbers are. I'm trying to beat my numbers. If I continue to beat my numbers, then I will beat everybody else, right? But I'm not just attacking this person. I'm looking at me. So it's just a different philosophy. It's just a different philosophy. So that's why I say,
I don't consider. I'm not attacking Prairie View. I'm challenging.
I'm not saying you're attacking us. I haven't said that you're attacking.
I want to be clear.
Yeah, I haven't said you're attacking.
And I've always said this, and while you say I'm not looking at what Jackson or FAMU is doing, I'm looking at what I'm doing to be my internal greatness. I respect that. But with that being said, the way you know you're great is if you see somebody else great. Because you can lie and say you're great all day until you have measured against somebody else, then you're like, I'm not as good as I thought I was. So I'm just telling you, my mindset is, you know what? I said Prairie View is a great university. You know why I know? Because I know the alums. I can measure that because like your AD just said, or like you just said, you got to be great. If you got a title sponsor that's your alum, that's pretty impressive. So you know what I'm going to do?
It is.
I'm going to call some of our FAMU. You know what they're doing down in Prairie View? We got to match that. So again, it's different strokes for different folks. But all I'm saying, that when you said golden era, I just thought it was plural years, not plural days. That's all I was just trying to figure out.
Well, again, right? But you can't get the plural. My only point is you can't get the plural years without year one. You can't get the plural years without year two. You can't get a decade without year three. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Let me.
Why you can't use the word era yet? Just say we.
I can't. Why can't I? Just because I call it early, don't mean it's not an error. I'm not gonna wait till year 10, then look back and say, "Oh, you know what? That was a golden era." No, I'm gonna call it early because listen, I'm early. I'm just early. This is what I am. I'm always early. Okay.
Okay. So you were early on the shirts, right? You were early on the shirt.
I was early on the shirt.
Came your way.
You ain't put early on the shirts. Y'all ain't made no championship shirts yet, have you?
I did make not for this year. No, we passed that now. You know what I'm saying? That was to pull us to this time. We already where we need to be now. So I don't need to make no more shirts. The shirts was to get us to the point. This the thing. The shirts was to get us to the point where PV12 is rocking on Twitter, was rocking on YouTube, is rocking on Facebook, where the fan base is rocking, and they there now. So I'm good. So we move to the next thing now. Now we focus on something different. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Lyle, let me ask you a serious question. Now, this is something that we talked about on Sipping on Sundays, and I want to ask you a question. Your AD came on here, and your coach talked about scheduling, right? For the Prairie View fan, when you all looked at that schedule and saw Stephen F. Austin and Tarleton State, you as a fan, what did that mean to you? Is that something that people down there are looking forward to play, or you know what? It's in between the Labor Day Classic. We waiting on the Labor Day Classic. What do you think the fans are thinking about scheduling those type of games?
Well, I think at all HBCUs, right, you got different type of fans. It's just the reality, right? You got true football fans. There's true football fans who understand if you name a team like West Georgia over or West Florida, right, over in FAMU, they'll say, hey, man, I like that game because that team was a top 23 program. I like that game, right? You're going to have people who look at it from that perspective, right? You know what I'm saying? That's my mindset, right? I look at it and I say, then you're going to have other people who, again, in Texas, we played Stephen F. Austin before. Last time we played Stephen F. Austin, Coach Northern will tell you that we went up there and handled business in Stephen F. Austin, right? So I love the schedule because, again, these are schools that are in our in our general area vicinity, these are schools that are FCS programs that we should be able to compete with, right? And we should be able to beat. So I love the schedule, right? I think the schedule makes so much sense for where we're trying to go, what we're trying to do, right? I think it's a true that part of the schedule is a true football fans delight, right? Because as a program who just went to the national title game, right? I mean, I would have loved if Tarleton went to the national title game, would have won it, and we would have went to the national title game, would have won it. That would make the intrigue of this game even larger than what it already is, right? And so I love the game, right? I love the schedule. And I think, again, Coach Jackson mentioned Houston Christian. You know, we talked about UTRGV. At the end of the day, man, UTRGV is one of them programs who are going to be like Tarleton and going to be on some kind of crazy trajectory, probably looking at heading toward, especially with the Texas system, they're trying to get multiple programs to go up to the next level. So they're also one of the programs who are going to be on that trajectory with the money and things they got behind them. And it's just crazy, right? I actually love what they've been doing as a program in athletics, you know what I mean, everything. So I love that they're on our schedule. I think it's great with the Hispanic community, right? Us with the Black community. I really would love that game to be in San Antonio one time, to be honest. I think that would be crazy, right? That would be crazy. Like a San Antonio market with the Hispanic community, right? You know, Black community there. I think that would go crazy. I don't know if it ever happened, right? But I love those games, right? So, but that's me. That's us, right? I think there's other segments of the fan base. You have to build that out, right? Because again, they're coming to the game as an HBCU group, as for the other peripheral stuff, right? For the band, for the dressing up and things of that nature, right? And that's why at the end of the day, you got to appeal to both. That's just the reality. That's why we got the culture of HBCUs. You got to learn, and that's the thing that we're building toward and working on, is building toward having that great mix of having the culture there that draws those people who are not necessarily just straight football fans, right? And having the games that have the intrigue. That's literally that's the bullseye, right? That's the perfect mixture, right? You know what I'm saying? And once we hit that nail on the head, then like I say, all this other stuff, it ain't even gonna be no conversation piece no more, because it came about talk about fans and all this stuff, because we'll have that solved, right? You know what I'm saying? Just like we're solving all these other things in our program. It's not gonna be overnight. It's not gonna be tomorrow. So that's why I don't concern it with people who think it's gonna be tomorrow, because that's not how real life works. Okay, you know what I'm saying? If you got problems, it takes time sometimes to build those problems and to take care of them, right? So we're addressing these things and then moving forward. So I'm excited about the schedule.
Mostly, where we gonna fall at? 1, 2, or 3?
And, you talking about the football team?
Yeah.
Coach, we finishing the fight, Coach. That's what Coach Jackson told you, right? He said, "Listen, the man ain't lied to me yet, Coach Cole. So I can't say nothing different than what he say. He say finish the fight. Everything he done told me so far has been true. That he told us, the only thing he didn't say, he said go to Atlanta. He didn't necessarily say win. He said that's what he messed up at. So I can't go no different than Coach Jackson telling me. And I think that Tarleton game is going to be an indicator early on that this is not just a general team. We're not people like Coach Jackson would say it straight up. People think we're going to Tarleton and play on this game. Oh, go to Baylor, Waco just to take a check. We don't put no game on our schedule that we're not going to win the game, right? And we don't. That's why he's scheduled like this. Most people look at the schedule and say, "Man, y'all got 12 games in 13 weeks. That's a lot." Like, listen, if you can't play 12 games in 13 weeks, you can't play for this program. That's his response, right? So we're looking for guys who understand the gauntlet that they're about to go through, because that's what we're going through. We're about to go play 14 games.
Let me ask you this. Looking at your football team the last year and this year coming, compared to other teams, what made you feel year before last that y'all were going 11-0? Was it just a fan, or you just kind of did you see it?
You're talking about the year before, 2024?
Now and then.
2024, or you talking about last year's team?
It don't matter. The teams before this team that will go to Celebration, was it something about this team different from the other teams in the past?
No, nothing was different.
We start making the T-shirts talking about y'all were going to Atlanta and y'all.
Right, exactly. So again, right, then I've said this multiple times on multiple shows. My show, I told Mr. Campbell this, right? The T-shirts were less about the team and more about the fans, right?
This is what you sound like Donald Trump. You sound like Trump.
Oh, don't do him like that.
How do I sound like Donald Trump? Hold on. That's a strong statement right there. Now,
excuse you.
No, this not it. I mean, this is the thing though. Do y'all want my answer or what you want me to do, right? Because I'm telling you, I'm giving you the truth of the statement, right?
Okay,
There's people offline who I had conversations with about making the show.
I heard this before, so you weren't basing it off of you.
Yeah,
really
the thing is, this the thing. This the same reason you say, why is there a PV versus everybody in the first place, right? There's a PV versus everybody because as I was coming on shows like this, I'm really coming and saying, oh, I want to hear about my school. I want to hear about what's going on PV, right? PV wasn't popping in though, right? So you're not really getting nothing. You're not really getting information. But that's really why I'm coming. That's why I'm looking. So I say, well, I know there's probably other people who want what I want, who are looking for what I'm looking for. I have the ability, I have the skill set. I started that, right? So now
it was purely propaganda. It worked.
It's not propaganda, right? It's not propaganda. It's if again, right? If somebody from Grambling said we're gonna go undefeated and win a championship, nobody's having no conversation about it, right? I know. I'm from. I went to those games. I'm from that fan base, right? Nobody's talking about. Nobody have no problem. Nobody even got a problem with them saying that, right? Southern said, Jackson said, nobody got a problem. What this was about saying throwing Prairie View fans. You talk about Twitter, right? People wasn't popular. Prairie View fans wasn't popular on Twitter like that. If you're talking about a couple years ago, right? They weren't popping off like that. It was to create that atmosphere so they can say you should be able to say your team is going to go undefeated no matter what nobody else say. It doesn't matter what they say, right? We all have that ability, right? You know what I'm saying? Have confidence, be able to have bravado and all these things. That was the whole goal behind the shirts, right? And I accomplished my mission. I just want to say I accomplished my mission, and y'all really helped me even more by even talking more about the shirts. Okay, I accomplished everything I wanted to do.
You had me too, Coach. You had me too. I was like, man, well, let me get on this. What is making these guys think that that's possible? But I get it. You won, man. That's all right. Now, look, now you can. What you gonna do to say? With you guys winning, people should jump on anyway. I think Coach Jackson's doing a great job.
And that's the thing. The thing is, with Coach Jackson the truth is, and this is how I feel, right? You can't hit a target you don't aim for anyway, right? This is life in general, right? You can't hit a target you don't aim for. So the truth is, you got to start speaking stuff into existence before you get there anyway, right? I'm just being this to me. This how my mama talked to me when I was young. I'm just saying, right? When I was young and I was playing, even T-ball at that time was horrible. I couldn't hit nothing. She literally called me in the kitchen and say, "What do you see yourself doing?" I'm like, "What you talking about?" Right? She's like, "No. What do you see? Do you see yourself? What you hit? Was it a hit? Was it a single? Was it a double? Was it a triple?" Say, "Oh, did you see yourself with bases loaded? You hit the home run. How's what the crowd saying? What it sound like? What your teammates say when you get back to the sideline?" Visualizing, right? Was I a great baseball player then? Absolutely not, right? But that visualization is what helped me to become an all-star baseball player later, right? So I'm saying that's the mindset and thought process behind it. Y'all want this. The thing to me is y'all want us to have a great fan base without wanting us to do the things that cause the fan base to become great in the first place. That's why we have arguments with other alum in ourselves, right? Because other alum want certain stuff, but it's like with a real fan base comes fans that say this coach, like Coach. You asked the question about Coach Smith. If you want a great fan base, a fan base that's engaged, you're going to have to deal with a fan base that says you should have fired Coach Smith last year. That's a part of having.
I got it.
I'm just trying to explain it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got it, Coach. I got it. And you're right. It was successful. It was a great ideal. And I got it. I got it. But now, I mean, you don't spoke it into existence. Y'all got one of the best football programs in the country. I look forward to this season. I think the SWAC is gotten stronger and better, and I'm looking for some exciting football coming this fall. What about you, Coach Campbell?
Listen, man, Lionel knows we talked offline. Lionel knows I'm so impressed with this young brother. You know, me and him tease back and forth. His mom and daddy raised him right. He got a good Prairie View education. He's a little bit delusional, but that's okay. He's a fan. That's okay. I like that. But the one thing I like about people is somebody's got to be first. When you are the person that's got to be first, you're always going to be successful because anybody can be second. Very few people can be first. So he stepped out there because you know what? I will say, and this is the truth. Nobody knew who the heck Lionel Mosby Jr. was from a can of paper. I tell you what, that boy is internet famous now. Trust me when I say it. And that PV12, and first of all, Scotty said he gonna sue y'all for trademark infringement because we saw them buttons that y'all got out there for them PV12 buttons. So I got my lawyer gonna call y'all about them PV12 buttons. But other than that, man, listen,
The lawyer can't call us about nothing because what they gonna call us about? What they gonna call us about? PV12.
Hey man, we listen, man. Y'all, you know, Scotty gave y'all that name. Y'all ain't giving
God,
no
ain't
check.
give us no PV12 name. You call the attorney, just call him up because Scotty ain't give us no PV12 name. Okay.
Scotty said he gave y'all the PV12
so y'all
ain't give us no PV12 name.
Y'all like the 12th man. Is that what that's PV12 is?
Nah, we the PV12. We don't know about no 12th man.
Coach, listen, yeah, I'm teasing, but Lionel, I will say this again, man. I'm proud. I will say this as the Prairie View fan base. You're doing exactly what y'all supposed to do. Y'all giving everybody, when they give you a shot, you give a shot. Because see, I'll be honest with you, I'm a rally. That's the only way we work. You know how we work. We ain't gonna let nobody. I don't care nothing about no 237. I don't care about who the president, bro. We still gonna keep bragging different. So I like what y'all doing down there, man. I appreciate you, man. But I will say this though, an era needs more than 1 year. That's all I got to say.
Era has a first year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, look, Cole gonna say goodbye.
There it is. Lionel Mosby Jr., y'all. PV versus everybody.
Lionel, it's been great. I look forward to spending some time with you when I get down there to PV. Coach, man, this has been a great show.
Yeah, man. I know you tried to shut it down. I had to mess with it, but no, man. Listen, Coach. Once again, hey man, shout out to Lionel. Shout out for everybody. First of all, let me say this, man. We've had over a couple of hundred people watching the show all night. We started late. Shout out to everybody that please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. Right. Man, me and Coach really appreciate this, man. You know, again, this is a labor of love, and we're going to keep bringing you the coaches. Coach, we're going to keep bringing them. So, Coach, I know we working on Chris Wright next week, that we can bring all the Alabama State folks. Right. You know, right. We'll bring Coach Gordon on.
That's right.
Talk about that. So that's what we got to do. So, Coach, I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna get out the way, and I'm gonna let you have it and close it out.
Hey, man, it's been a great show. I'm sorry that I haven't been around. I got a lot of new things going on in my life, a lot of good things, but the show is taking off. You know, again, I want to send a shout out to Scotty, who, you know, really one of the pioneers of this deal and passing things over to us. And we're going to take the baton, man, and run with it. And it's all because of you guys who've been watching our show. And as I always say, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
There you go. Wait,
what up?